Welcome to Glitches to Gold, a weekly podcast birthed from my obsession with living a successful life. It began with chasing an Olympic dream and resulted in a 30-year obsession explored through sport, neuroscience, psychology, energetics, quantum mechanics, religion, art, and beauty. Sometimes chasing and achieving external markers, and at others experiencing the absolute opposite. Yet both taught me the same undeniable truth, and I'm here to share what I have discovered in the journey of mastering the alchemy of life, turning glitches to gold and success into overflow. If you like the podcast, share the love, like, rate, and subscribe on your favourite platform. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Glitches to Gold, and I'm Jo Warwick, and I'm going to let you in on a secret. A really important secret, and I want you to understand this question. What if everything that you desire, everything that you've been working towards, everything that you have been struggling, pushing, striving, desiring for is the other side of this? The other side of it, okay? Now, did you know that back in 1999, when The Matrix came out, the first film came out, it made around 467 million. Now, since 1999 and 2003, the three Matrix trilogies have made $1.6 billion worldwide so far. Okay, three movies that spoke to your conscious, your subconscious, your soul, a part of you that understands the idea of the Matrix being that there is a collective consciousness idea, a game that you're part of, and that every hero and heroine story that we see in movies, in books, and ideas is all about, we have to break free. Every story about fighting against something to break out. And even the Matrix trilogies themselves, although there is a core element that is truth, it still holds the Matrix coding which keeps you trapped. Okay, so now that our consciousness is more awake and aware, and more people have an understanding, so much so that the language of the Matrix is now understood on a wider perspective. And it's understood that the Matrix is a collection of beliefs, limiting beliefs, energies, ideas that are keeping you contained. And on some level, most people are aware that they're doing personal work to wake up, to be more powerful, and they understand about manifesting, having control to change your reality, that we are in some sort of holographic universe, we're in a game, we're the way you want to decide it. And yet, as I said, just like the Matrix trilogy, there is this story of fighting. Yeah, you have to fight against, and there is still an encoding by everything that you're being taught, everything that you're being shown in the collective of society still holds a code to keep you inside the Matrix, inside the larger collective lie. Now, when I was a child and family therapist, I had the pleasure of meeting the most incredible neuroscientist who wrote children's books as a therapist, Margot Sunderland. And she wrote this incredible book, and it was called When the Frog Fell in Love with the Moon. And this book stuck with me. I used these books, I may have talked about it before, but this book particularly stuck with me about the many layers of this story, how we can become obsessed, glimmering for the crumb of love. And the story is that the frog falls in love with the moon. He believes that the moon shone on him, winked at him just once, and it was so magnificent, he never wanted to turn away. And he became so fixated, nothing like a codependent relationship, so fixated, hoping for the crumb, hoping that eventually he'll be loved. And behind him are all the other frogs going, come this way, come this way, come this way. And they're having a party, and their life is rich and full for all these frogs. And he's sat on a rock and he just cannot see it. Now, this struck me both at different times of my life. Of course, on a child level, looking to your parents. On relationships, looking to a lover. The unhealthy to the healthy. But actually, it really also speaks to this larger part of you of understanding, stepping out of the matrix, that it's over there and you're so busy looking at the matrix coding. And that coding is when you're inside the matrix, the striving, and social media is such a great vision of this, the crab pot mentality. We've all got to chase to having the person at the top, and we all want to be at the top, and we've all got to have the most amount of luxury and the most amount of being super popular and the most amount of followers. And you can see it in politics. Exactly the same thing happens. Look at American politics, look at British politics. It's the constant scrabble, the fight, that it's got to be hard and it's got to be difficult, we've got to struggle, we've got to fight for it, and eventually one person will get to the top, and there's not enough. The limitation belief that there's not enough, and everybody's going around, social media, great example, everyone's going around saying, oh no, you've got it inside of you, you are amazing. And yet, how many times do we see in the news and in popular news, etc., about how someone is brought down and attacked and brought down and attacked? The same mentality, exactly the same as wars if we look at a bigger picture. The idea that it's a lack. This is all the matrix. I want you to hear this. This is all the matrix. If you're looking at it, if you're being in it, if you feel these patterns, any patterns in your life where it's been a struggle and it's a striving and it's difficult and you're chasing and you're trying to get to the top and you're in a limitation, it's part of the matrix. And the part of you that is locking you into the matrix is your not self. Okay? Inside of us in human design, we describe it as the not self and the self. The self is your soul. The soul it's actually never been inside of the matrix. The soul is outside of the matrix. It's already outside of the matrix. Your soul, your higher self, yourself, your divine part, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same friggin' shit. Okay? It's the same magnificent, bigger part of yourself. The player, yeah, of the game. You are both the avatar and the player. I've described it like that before. If you think for a moment, just like a player in a game, if you thought there is the player, there is the person playing the game, and then there's the avatar. If you've ever played video games, you know that you are the person outside, and then there's an avatar version of you. Well, this avatar version of you is the version of you living this life, okay? But the truth is, you were never in the game. And whilst you believe you are in the game and of the game, you will continue to be in the matrix. If you believe you are in the game and of the game, just like the film. So no matter what you do and the ways that you're doing it, there is a part of you that's been trying to get out. If you're into personal development, if you're into manifesting, if you're into spiritual development, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're attracted to things that speak to your soul, speak to your consciousness that's going, I'm outside, I want to be outside, I want to be bigger, I am bigger, I want to be more successful, but more than anything, I want the freedom of my success. Not, I just want to collect gold coins, yeah? Because inside the matrix, it's I've got to collect gold coins. I've got to collect the coins just like a video game. I've got to collect the gold coins just like Super Mario, yeah? To get the things. But when I'm in the game and not of the game, I can play the game recognizing that the money is already there, there is an abundance, there's an overflow, but more importantly, it's all about frequency. It's about frequency, it's about frequency, it's about frequency. It's about that I have it all and I'm creating a game and I'm just playing out. A part of my soul is playing out something. The not self part of you, the part of you that believes you are in the game and of the game, is the one that got you to survive inside of the matrix. Jesus' story in the Bible actually speaks to this entirely when he speaks to the fact that the idea of sin was you're actually in the matrix and he was actually breaking you out of the matrix. This is the whole point, to recognize the truth that you were never in it, but you were playing it out. And this is a constant story. It's in every religious book, every philosophy. There is both the story of the truth, you're outside the matrix, everything is in your power, you get to create it, and you're in the matrix, everything is not in your power, you're being controlled, and you've got to chase the gold coins. Chase the gold coins, chase the popularity, be the one in charge, there's not enough, yeah? Now, a big part of the Matrix story and what keeps you locked inside the story still is the idea that if you step out, there's going to be danger. And if you look at the films, that's what happens. Of course, he starts being attacked, that they're trying to get him back in the Matrix. Now, that is what your not self is holding as a story, but is not the truth. And it's perpetuated through every story and film that you ever see about the idea if you step out of, and you have to fight and you have to prove and you have to get yourself out of it. It is the greatest lie as well that says danger is the other side. Now, scientifically, we've also proven that there is a part of our amygdala in our brain that is still left over, a reptilian part that is still holding the story as an animal, the idea of danger outside of yourself, but it's actually also coded into your being, into your body, as the idea to stay in the matrix so that you stay in and you behave and you get your energy life force being drained. It is not the truth, because outside of the cage, outside of your cage, is your higher self, your soul. Your player is already outside. Everything you want is outside of the cage. It's all there. The lie, the illusion, is keeping you inside the matrix so that you don't access it, and you have to work really hard to keep proving yourself. So when we see it both from a personal level and a bigger picture level, we can see that there's the same theme going on everywhere in films, just like the Matrix films, but also in the spiritual world, religious world. Yeah, it's all telling you the same thing because it's the truth. It's the truth. Now, there is one lie that is keeping you locked inside of this matrix, and I've created the most incredible masterclass for you. You'll be able to download. Just hit the link in the show notes or go straight to www.glitchestogold.com. You can access it there. It will tell you, literally, I'm exposing the greatest lie, building on today's session, building on everything that I do. You will be able to access both the Hidden Money Patterns ebook, which I absolutely recommend you should get that. And if you go through that process, you will be able to get the masterclass with 50% off. Okay, if you go and get the Hidden Money ebook first. If you go straight to the masterclass, you're going to pay full price. All right. So the masterclass is an expose, but it's also an activation. Okay, so it's both things. It's activating you to see your own individual matrix, what I call the golden cage. Okay, the golden cage, as you start to understand what is keeping you locked in, it needs to activate you to understand the greatest lie ever told to you, which I call the greatest lie the devil ever told. It will activate in you so that you see the lie, you see what's keeping you locked in the matrix, okay, and why that's being played out. It will activate you. And then the second part, which will free you from the matrix forever, okay, forever, when you're ready for it, it's inside of Unlimited. Okay, so my membership space, Unlimited, you can access that for 3 days for free as a trial, and you will access all the other incredible things in there, understanding more about your not self, yourself, where your power is, your sovereign state. There's exercises to keep you aligned with what you call your golden timeline. Because once you step out of the matrix, you actually step onto your golden timeline. You've got to step out of the cage that is the lie and the illusion for the consciousness part of you that is locked in as an avatar, and step out onto your golden timeline, which is what you were born with and part of your human design, so your success timeline. And then how to utilize that in the full state of what I call your abundance timeline, your freedom timeline. It is the thing. Yeah, it's the frequency that is your success path. Now, it's a lot, isn't it? It's amazing. So you've been doing so much work. You've been getting ready to be ready to be ready, but you're looking around. If you're here, and I know this will resonate, you've looked around and you've seen people who seem to be thriving, and then maybe you've been following some people for a while and you'll see that they're thriving, and then they sort of blow up their businesses, or you start to have some level of success because you've managed to expand your own cage, but then things fall away or they don't go any further and you feel like you're repeating patterns. So you're seeing it on the outside, but you're also seeing it for yourself. You come around repetitive patterns. This is the cage, okay? You might also notice that there are some people who are super fucking successful because they're outside of the cage. You see them because they're in the game, but they're not of the game. And no amount of you doing affirmations, no amount of you learning about the law of attraction, no amount of you doing religious praying, no amount is ever going to get you out of the matrix until you step out of the matrix. You won't get the things that you want without there being a cost, without there being sacrifice, because you're inside the matrix. And you're not going to hear this very often, okay? Because people who are outside the matrix, a lot of them don't want to tell you. They still want to keep you in the matrix because there are good forces in life and there are people who are still playing with the matrix, controlling. So why do we have the matrix? It's to drain you. It's to drain you, it's control, it's constriction, it's restriction, constriction, restriction, control. Okay? It drains your life force. And there is a whole bigger story of humanity, a whole much bigger story of humanity that we don't really need to go into, but I can tell you the purpose is draining your life force. Okay, so you stay in the illusion, and just like the Matrix movie, it's also a bit like that film, A Free Guy, yeah, and he realizes he's in a computer game. It's the same idea, breaking out, but of course it's always this idea you've got to break out. Again, that's a Matrix idea. Okay, anything that says you have to fight, break, force, that's keeping you in the matrix. Anything that says you have to prove yourself, it's keeping you in the matrix. Anything that says I've got to be the hero, the heroine, it's keeping you in the matrix. That is a matrix story. Okay? It's very opposite to the truth, which is about dissolving your own cage, because you're not here to step out of a bigger matrix. We all have our own cage. Yeah? We have our own cage. That's the only thing you have to step out of. And it kind of makes me think in the Matrix film, when he wakes up and realizes he's in that little bubble. Now, that's not the case. You never were. That's not true. But the cage that you're in, you've been getting ready to be able to see it. And it is the things of the limitations, but it's coded into your body. You've been holding it in your body. This template that keeps you inside of your own golden cage. And I call it golden because of the fact that it can look very successful. You can be in the matrix and you can have the family and the friends and the lover and the money. Have you ever heard the expression golden handcuffs? Yeah. So the idea of being the golden handcuffs that you don't actually realize you're imprisoned. And that was an idea about the fact that if we pay you enough money, you will be still draining yourself in a corporation. Yeah, that idea, that corporation, I'll drain my time, my energy in a corporation, and they'll just pay me for the money. Okay? There are so many stories that you can hear are all the same thing. The idea that I'm trapped in something and I've got to get out of it. I'm trapped in something and I've got to get out of it. So the idea that you are having to break free is a matrix idea. Now, you've been doing the work. You are here. I'm so excited for you. Everything you want, the true abundance that you want, the true freedom that you know is yours, is your birthright. All of these things are true. It's yours. It is your birthright, but it's outside of the cage. And the question is, are you ready to step out of the cage? Are you ready to go and watch, or listen, I should say, to this 30-minute masterclass that will activate you, will blow your fucking mind. You'll be like, oh fuck, the truth about this one greatest lie, yeah, that's keeping you entrapped. And then, more importantly, it's one thing seeing it, one thing being activated, but then if you're ready to truly step out of that cage and have everything that you want, get on your own timeline, step into unlimited. Okay? Step into unlimited. This isn't about money. It's about money as in receiving abundance and overflow and having everything you want, freedom and abundance. But I'm talking about your investment. This has nothing to do with what you believe the price should be or not be, or what you can afford or not afford, because the truth is we can all afford anything we want when we want it. When we truly want it, we find a way. But more importantly, it's about saying, am I actually ready to face the truth? How fucked off, what the fuck, had enough, can't be having it anymore. I'm so done with it. I'm so ready. I've tried it from every angle. It's that moment of going, do you know what? I'm going to look at the hidden money patterns, because that's the first step and that is free. The second step, watching the masterclass, well, that's saying, do you know what? I'm going to face my ultimate fears. I'm actually going to face this. Yeah? That's about courage. And that is the one thing of the hero story, whether that is Neo in Matrix or every a Greek story ever told. It takes courage. It takes courage to face the truth. Okay, because it means you have to let go of your old identity. It means you have to let go of what you thought everything was. But the truth is, you've been doing so much fucking work and you've been trying to expand your cage and you've expanded it to a point, but you never got rid of it. You're still walking around in a cage. I'm sorry to tell you. So until you step out and you're fully in the game, but not of the game, yeah? That you can still move around in this beautiful, incredible world, and yet you're seeing it on a whole different paradigm, a whole different frequency. Yeah, it's a completely different frequency, and this is a multi-dimensional Earth, okay, a multi-dimensional life that you're in. So, like a game, it's time to elevate out of the lower dimensions and into the higher ones, heaven on earth, yeah, which is what Jesus was talking about. Heaven on earth is stepping out of your own golden cage and stepping into heaven on earth, which is what you deserve. You deserve this, you're ready for this. So the question is, are you going to be brave enough to listen to the masterclass and, more importantly, step into unlimited to you step from your golden cage and onto your golden timeline? Yeah, there's no point doing part 1 without part 2. So, oh my gosh, it's time for heaven on earth. I'm so excited for you, but I'm trying to show you the bigger picture. You know this. It's speaking to your soul. It's speaking to your unconscious that's already part of it. It's speaking to yourself. Yeah, but your not self is going to go, trying to justify keeping you in the matrix, because she's designed to keep you in the matrix. She's designed for that. That's what her job was up until this point. But the truth is, your not self, her real job is she's just a computer that's supposed to support yourself. Yeah, she's supposed to support yourself. But because you've been inside the matrix, she's been leading the show. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be able to share this with you. So details are in the links below. They are in the show notes. You head on over to www.glitchestogold.com. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you inside of Unlimited. Remember, you can grab all the details. Check it out. Be bold, be brave, be courageous. Finally turn your glitches into true gold. Not a golden cage, but your golden abundance, freedom, frequency, your timeline that is yours. It's waiting inside of you. And this is where human design meets quantum, meets psychotherapy, meets energetics. It all comes together because it's the truth. The truth, the truth, the truth. So much love.